More violence is erupting on college campuses after a night of unrest from coast to coast. Police have been trying to break up anti-war protests at several of America's top institutions. Clashes are still ongoing between police and demonstrators at UCLA. Dramatic new video shows fighting between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli groups, with some people apparently throwing fireworks into an encampment there. At the University of Arizona, police clashed with pro-Palestinian protesters and deployed so-called chemical irritants to break up demonstrations on campus. And in New York, the NYPD descended onto Columbia University and City College, arresting at least 100 people as they cleared pro-Palestinian encampments and removed protesters barricaded in Columbia's Hamilton Hall. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest from Columbia University.
Hundreds of New York City police officers in riot gear moving into Columbia University. SWAT teams rolling in. One by one, police officers seen filing in on an extended ramp into the second floor of Columbia's Hamilton Hall. In the late night hours, police forming a line around the perimeter, clearing protesters blocking the entrance. Once inside, going floor by floor, room by room. NYPD using flashbangs. At least 100 people arrested, led away, hands tied behind their backs with zip ties, and loaded onto a police bus. The university president allowing the NYPD to move in, saying the group who broke into the building includes students, but led by individuals who are not affiliated with the university, and that the administration was left with no choice.
They're not here to promote peace or unity or allow a peaceful displaying of one's voice, but they're here to create discord and divisiveness.
Almost 24 hours earlier, protesters marching from the encampment to Hamilton Hall, smashing through doors, throwing furniture, zip-tying doors shut and barricading themselves inside, putting up a banner renaming the building Hind Hall in honor of 6-year-old Hind Rajab, a Palestinian girl killed in the war in Gaza earlier this year. This morning, Columbia sharing these videos with us, showing classrooms ransacked, the encampment cleared.
What were your thoughts about those student demonstrators that pitched tents and set up that encampment, demanding that the university divest from companies profiting from Israel? What are your thoughts on that?
So the students believe passionately in this cause, and they're willing to break all the rules and risk sanctions to draw attention to the genocide in Gaza. And they are willing to come out here even though the university is punishing them for doing so.
And ABC's Stephanie Ramos is at Columbia University here in New York City. ABC's Trevor Ault is from UCLA in Los Angeles. They join me now with more. Stephanie, let's start with the latest from Columbia. What's happening there now?
Well, Diane, the protests are over. The encampment at Columbia University is clear. We can tell, standing here where we could see Hamilton Hall, the flags that were hanging from some of the windows, those have been cleared as well. It is calm. We can still see NYPD officers posted outside of the campus and across the area here, and barricades are still in place. But overall, there is this sense of calm that the university wanted. They were holding off for a number of days, at least 10 to 11 days, holding off on calling the NYPD back here. They didn't want to inflame the situation, but yesterday they gave that authorization to the NYPD to move in, and they did.
So, Stephanie, what are the NYPD and Columbia officials saying about the response and next steps there?
Well, we understand that NYPD officials will be giving a press conference here shortly. We know that a number of individuals were arrested yesterday, taken into custody, at least 100. It's unclear how many are students, how many are not affiliated with the university. We know that the New York City mayor yesterday mentioned this and said that there were a lot of outside agitators that basically co-opted the protests here at Columbia University. We know that Columbia overnight sent out a notice saying that the only individuals allowed back on campus will be students who live on campus and those who provide essential services here at Columbia University.
And Trevor, what's the latest from UCLA?
Well, it was a wild night, Diane, so there's still hundreds of police officers who are on the scene here. That is their encampment there in the distance. You can see it there. These barricades were just put up a couple hours ago. It's overnight. We watched as that encampment there was surrounded by some pro-Israeli demonstrators, and then we saw a number of violent altercations. There were several times where fireworks were tossed into the encampment. We saw people using plywood boards, using batons to attack each other, even using these kinds of barricades to attack one another, to the point that the authorities were called in, these hundreds of officers. But there was about 2 or 3 hours that went by before there was law enforcement intervention, and it was kind of an all-out brawl here surrounding the encampment. So the focus of law enforcement was making sure they could keep those two groups separated. It continued deep into the night, and only now as the sun is coming up are we starting to see at least a little bit of calm, Diane.
So Trevor, what now? What are police and university officials there doing to try to reduce the tensions?
Well, at this point, I think what they're just focused on is keeping these two groups separate, Diane. UCLA, probably more so than most other universities that we've seen, has had a very prominent contingent of pro-Israel counter-protesters. This was not the first time that we've seen these two groups face-to-face. This weekend, there were some counter-protests, and we saw people at a few different instances have some violent altercations. What was the focus overnight was making sure that they could keep those groups separate. So now these barricades, rather than being right up against the encampment, are several hundred feet away. I think they want to first off maintain that space, but you do have to wonder what actions are going to be taken by the university about the continued presence of the encampment. So many other universities, including Columbia, taking those increasingly drastic measures. But we do know overnight the first step was just trying to stop the violence. University officials here talked about horrific acts of violence as to what was happening overnight, Diane.
Trevor Alton, Stephanie Ramos, thank you both.